Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is one of the most badass open world games ever, and it still holds up like a freaking champ. If you've never played it, imagine GTA mixed with classic kung fu action movies set in the neon-lit streets of Hong Kong. Yeah, it's as awesome as it sounds. You play as Wei Shen, an undercover cop who gets deep, and I mean deep, into the Hong Kong triads. The dude is basically a one-man wrecking crew. He's got to balance his loyalty between the police and the criminals, and that means doing some seriously shady stuff to keep his cover. It's a crime story with actual weight, where you start caring about these ruthless gangsters even as you're supposed to be taking them down. But let's talk about the real reason this game slaps: the combat. Forget guns for a second. This game's hand-to-hand fighting is straight up legendary. Think Batman Arkham-style brawling, but with brutal martial arts moves straight out of a Jackie Chan flick. You can counter, dodge, grapple, and even use the environment in the most painful ways possible. Slamming a dude's head into an air conditioning unit? Yup. Tossing a guy into a fish tank? Done. Crushing someone with a car door? Why the hell not? And then there's the driving. The streets of Hong Kong are tight, packed, and full of chaos. Every chase feels like a freaking movie scene. You can leap from car to car, shoot tires out in slow motion, and pull off high-speed stunts that make you feel like a total legend. It's over the top, ridiculous, and so fun. But what really makes Sleeping Dogs special is the world itself. Hong Kong isn't just a backdrop, it feels alive. Neon signs glow over rain-soaked streets, markets are packed with people, and every alleyway hides something interesting. The game isn't as big as GTA, but it's dense, detailed, and full of personality. And the side missions, you'll be racing, gambling, doing cop work, and even mastering martial arts at a dojo, is never a dull moment. Sleeping Dogs deserved a sequel. It never got one, which sucks, but it still stands as one of the best open-world crime games ever made. If you haven't played it, fix that. And if you have, you already know it's always worth another round.
Wait, you are hardcore. You beat that like it was nothing.
Fallout New Vegas. Fallout New Vegas is what happens when a game gives you total freedom, then watches you dig your own grave with it. Seriously, this isn't just a game, it's a full-blown choose-your-own disaster simulator. You can be a hero, a villain, a wild card, or just some dude wandering the desert looking for a new pair of sunglasses. And it all works! You start off dead, well, almost. Some suit-wearing sleazebag shoots you in the head and leaves you in a ditch. But guess what? You survive, because you're built different. So you climb out of that grave, dust yourself off, and set out to figure out who tried to kill you, and what the hell is actually going on in the Mojave Wasteland. And let me tell you, this world is a freaking mess. There are 3 major factions all clawing for control over New Vegas. The NCR, basically a struggling democracy that means well but can't stop tripping over itself. Caesar's Legion, a bunch of brutal slavers who think ancient Rome had the right idea. And Mr. House, a creepy billionaire running Vegas from a vault full of robots. None of them are 100% good or bad, so it's up to you to decide who, if anyone, deserves to run the show. But the best part? The game doesn't force you into anything. You can side with whoever, betray whoever, or even just say screw it and take over New Vegas for yourself. Every choice matters, and you will feel the consequences. Help a town defend itself? Maybe they thrive, maybe they get wiped out anyway. Every mission, every side quest, everything you do changes the world. And then there's the writing. New Vegas isn't just full of NPCs, it's full of characters. Whether it's Yes Man, the world's most enthusiastic robot, or Joshua Graham, the burned-up warlord who talks like he just stepped out of the Bible, everyone has a story. And sometimes the best moments in the game aren't even about big battles or game-changing choices. They're just about stumbling into some weird little side story in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it's a little janky. It's a Bethesda game not even made by Bethesda, so you already know some weird glitches are gonna happen. But who cares when a game gives you this much freedom, this much personality, and this much replayability? A few bugs are just part of the charm. GTA 4? GTA 4 is a different kind of Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, it's still got the open world chaos, the car chases, the shootouts, and all the ridiculous stuff that makes a GTA game fun, but at its core, it's actually a dark, emotional story about chasing the American dream and watching it fall apart. You play as Niko Bellic, a war veteran from Eastern Europe who comes to Liberty City looking for a fresh start. He thinks he's getting a life of riches and success thanks to his cousin Roman, but the second he steps off the boat, he realizes Roman's full of crap. No mansions, no luxury cars, just a rundown apartment and a mountain of debt. And just like that, Niko is pulled into a world of crime, betrayal, and violence all over again. And let's talk about Liberty City. This place feels alive. The rain-soaked streets, the honking traffic, the late-night radio chatter. It's not just a backdrop, it's a character in itself. You can hang out with friends, go bowling, watch terrible in-game TV shows, even get drunk and stumble around like an idiot. It's got this gritty, realistic vibe that no other GTA really captured. The story? Way heavier than past GTA games. Nico isn't out here for fun, he's haunted by his past, looking for revenge, and just trying to survive in a city that doesn't give a damn about him. And Rockstar nailed it. The writing, the voice acting, the little moments of quiet sadness between all the chaos, it all hits different. And the gameplay? Chunky, weighty, deliberate, cars feel heavy, guns have real kick, and you're not some superhero who can shrug off bullets. Nico stumbles, cars spin out, shootouts are messy. It's all more grounded than later GTA games, and that's part of what makes it special. By the time you reach the ending, you're not just playing a game, you're watching a man's entire life spiral out of control, and that final choice, it freaking hurts. Some people love GTA 5 more because it's bigger, faster, and flashy. But GTA 4 has a soul. It's rougher, grittier, and hits way harder emotionally. If you've never played it, you're missing out on one of Rockstar's most powerful stories, and if you have, maybe it's time to take another ride through Liberty City. Just maybe don't answer Roman's calls about bowling this time. Just Cause 2. Just Cause 2 is pure, unfiltered chaos in video game form. It doesn't care about deep storytelling, emotional character arcs, or serious drama. It cares about one thing, blowing stuff up in the most ridiculous ways possible. And honestly, that's freaking beautiful. You play as Rico Rodriguez, a one-man army with a grappling hook, an unlimited supply of parachutes, and absolutely zero regard for the laws of physics. Your mission? Overthrow a corrupt dictator on the massive island of Panau. How do you do it? By causing as much destruction as humanly possible. Blow up fuel depots, hijack helicopters, crash planes into radio towers. The bigger the explosion, the better. And let's talk about that grappling hook. This thing is a game changer. You can hook onto cars, buildings, helicopters, enemies, you name it. Attach a bad guy to a gas tank and shoot it. He rockets into the sky like Team Rocket. Grapple onto a plane mid-flight, now you're the pilot. The game basically asks, what insane stunt do you want to pull off? And then lets you freaking do it. The world of Panau? Absolutely massive. Jungle, desert, snowy mountains, bustling cities, it's all here. And because Rico has infinite parachutes and the best grappling hook in gaming history, you don't even need roads. Screw driving, just fling yourself across the island like an action movie legend. Just Cause 2 is one of those games where you boot it up, start messing around, and suddenly it's 5 hours later. It's pure mayhem, pure fun, and it never takes itself too seriously. If you just want to cause destruction, pull off impossible stunts, and make Michael Bay movies look boring, this game is a freaking masterpiece. Prey 2017. Prey 2017 is one of those games that completely sucks you in without you even realizing it. You start playing, thinking you'll check it out for a bit, and the next thing you know, the sun is coming up and you're questioning reality. It's that freaking good. You play as Morgan Yu, a scientist working on a massive space station called Talos 1. Everything seems normal until it isn't. Turns out the station is completely overrun by the Typhon, a creepy, shape-shifting alien species that can disguise themselves as literally anything. That coffee cup on the table? Yeah, it might freaking kill you. What makes Prey so addicting is how it throws you into this broken, hostile world and just lets you figure things out. There's no hand-holding, you're constantly scavenging, hacking, upgrading, and deciding how you want to play. Want to fight your way through with shotguns and EMP grenades? Go for it. Want to sneak past enemies and hack your way into locked rooms? That works too. Want to inject yourself with alien powers and start throwing objects with your mind? Hell yeah. And speaking of powers, this game gives you some wild abilities. You can mimic objects like the aliens do, meaning yes, you can literally turn into a coffee cup and roll your way past enemies, or you can set traps, blast enemies with psychic energy, or even control their minds. But the more alien abilities you use, the more the station starts treating you like a threat. Security systems stop recognizing you as human, and suddenly the station's turrets are blasting you on sight.
Administrative controls on workstations or keypads may result in electric.
Every decision changes the way the game plays out. The best part is that Talos 1 is a freaking masterpiece of level design. It's basically one giant puzzle box full of hidden passages, locked doors, and multiple ways to approach every situation. You might find a keycard for a door, or you might just stack some chairs and climb through a vent, or maybe you find a secret tunnel that leads to something even crazier. Every time you explore, you find something new. And the story, oh man, it starts off interesting, but by the time you hit the final act, your brain is gonna explode. Twists, betrayals, insane revelations, it's all here. And depending on the choices you made, your ending could play out in completely different ways. If you love games that let you think for yourself, reward curiosity, and keep you on edge the entire time, Prey is a must-play. It's like a mix of BioShock, Deus Ex, and System Shock, but still its own thing, and once you finish it, you'll be thinking about it for a long freaking time. Clair Obscur Expedition 33. So if you're into RPGs with a mix of mystery, strategy, and emotional storytelling, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one you really want to check out. Released in April 2025, this game's got a unique vibe, blending dark fantasy with a touch of French history, specifically the Belle Epoque period. You play as Gustave, a member of an expeditionary team, trying to stop this mysterious figure known as the Paintress, who seems to be behind a series of strange disappearances every year. It's not just your typical fantasy game, it's got a lot of layers, with emotional beats and a deep story that keeps you invested all way. What really makes the game stand out is the combat system. It's not just your usual turn-based battle style. Sure, it's turn-based, but there's this real-time twist. While you take turns, you also have the chance to dodge and parry attacks, which gives it a more fluid, active feel compared to most turn-based systems. You're always engaged, which keeps fights from feeling slow or tedious. On top of that, each character in your team can equip Picta, which are basically buffs that help you in battle. But here's the cool part. Those Pictos can turn into Luminas, which are even more powerful abilities that create crazy synergies between characters. So there's a lot of strategy involved, and figuring out the best combinations is super satisfying. Visually, the game is just stunning. The environments have this painterly, almost dreamlike quality to them, which fits perfectly with the mysterious and dark tone of the game. It's the kind of world that pulls you in and makes you want to explore every inch of it, whether you're wandering through eerie forests, crumbling castles, or foggy city streets. Every place feels alive with detail. The lighting, textures, and even the little environmental touches just add to that immersive vibe. But it's not just about looks. The emotional storytelling is top-notch. As you progress, you get to know each of the characters, and their personal stories really add depth to the overall plot. There are some heavy moments, especially when you start unraveling the mystery of the Paintress and the connections between the characters. The orchestral soundtrack ties everything together perfectly. It's not just background noise, but something that enhances the emotional weight of each scene. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. If you loved the first one, this is like the next level. You're still playing as Henry, the blacksmith's son turned warrior, but this time things are even bigger, better, and way more immersive. The game is set in 15th century Bohemia, and the world is absolutely massive, twice the size of the original, and it's all open world, so you can explore pretty much everything. Visually, this game is gorgeous. The team at Warhorse Studios has really pushed the CryEngine to make the landscapes look stunning. From the rolling hills and dense forests to the bustling towns, everything just feels alive and real. You can really see how much effort has gone into making the world feel authentic. The lighting, the textures, even the way the weather changes, it's all designed to pull you right into that medieval setting. But when it comes to combat, Kingdom Come 2 delivers in spades. It's still that same complex melee system where you need to be precise with your timing and positioning. You've got swords, bows, and even early firearms, and you can use them all while riding your horse, which just makes everything feel even more epic. The combat isn't just about hitting things, it's about reading your opponent and timing your moves. It's tough, but super rewarding once you get the hang of it. But here's the cool part. Kingdom Come 2 really deepens the role-playing aspect. Your choices matter more than ever. There are new dialogue skills like appearance, coercion, and dominate that let you change the way you interact with people. Whether you want to talk your way out of a fight, intimidate someone, or just charm them, it's all on you. The world reacts to your decisions, so you really feel the weight of your actions. And let's not forget about the soundtrack. The orchestral music adds so much to the atmosphere. It really brings those big epic moments to life. Whether you're charging into battle or just riding through the countryside, the music makes everything feel more intense. Steller Blade. So Steller Blade is one of those games that just hits different. It's got slick combat, amazing visuals, and a kind of anime meets sci-fi vibe that's honestly super fun to play through. You play as Eve, a super skilled soldier who gets dropped into a destroyed Earth to fight off these freaky alien creatures called the Nativas. The story starts off kind of mysterious, but you quickly get pulled into this mix of action, emotion, and some weird techie future stuff. What makes Steller Blade really pop is the combat. It's super smooth, lots of dodging, parrying, and pulling off these stylish combos that feel so good when you nail them. There's also this energy system where you charge up powerful moves the more clean hits and blocks you land. It's one of those games where once you get into the flow, you feel like a total beast, and yet this game looks amazing. We're talking full-on next-gen graphics, the lighting, the character design, the world, everything just looks sharp. Even the animations are clean and satisfying. It's got a bit of that Nier Automata vibe with a more modern polish, and it really shows off what the PS5 can do. The world's semi-open, so while it's not a huge open-world game, there's plenty to explore. You'll find hidden spots, side quests, little environmental puzzles, and gear upgrades scattered around. Plus, there are a bunch of different outfits you can unlock for Eve, so you can switch up her look as you go. The story's decent. It's got some emotional beats, a little mystery, and enough to keep you hooked without getting in the way of the action. Honestly, if you're here for deep storytelling, you might not get that, but if you want awesome gameplay with a cool vibe, Steller Blade delivers big time. So yeah, if you're looking for a visually stunning, fast-paced action game to get lost in for a weekend or two, this is a solid pick. It's only on PS5 for now, but a PC version's coming soon. Definitely worth a shot if you're into stylish single-player games. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Alright, so Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is finally out, and man, it's such a fun ride. If you grew up watching indie movies or just love a good treasure hunting adventure, this game's totally your jam. You play as Indy, the Indiana Jones, and you're off chasing ancient secrets, solving old school puzzles, dodging traps, and throwing punches at Nazis. It's got that classic movie vibe, but you're actually in it this time. Up going on, the story's set in the late 1930s, and you travel all over the world, from jungles to snowy mountains to creepy tombs. Every place looks amazing, especially on PS5. The graphics are super sharp, and the lighting and details just pull you right in. The game mixes first-person exploration with third-person action scenes, and it flows really well. 1 second you're exploring ruins, and the next you're in a full-on brawl or running from some collapsing structure. The combat feels solid, too. You've got Indy's whip, fists, and even guns when you need them. But it's not just about fighting. The puzzles are actually fun, and they don't feel like they're getting in the way. It all fits into the story and makes you feel like you're really uncovering something. What's cool is that even though this game started as an Xbox title, it runs great on PS5 now. Super smooth, quick load times, and the haptic feedback makes things feel more real, like you can feel the whip snap or the tension when you're climbing stuff. Troy Baker voices Indy, and he does a solid job bringing that charm and grit we all know. Blackmyth Wukong. This is one of those games where you boot it up and immediately think, yep, this is going to be something special. You play as this mysterious warrior, basically a new take on the legendary Monkey King, and you're just thrown into this insanely cool, myth-heavy version of ancient China. The game's vibe is kind of like Elden Ring meets Journey to the West, but with its own flavor. The combat, it's slick, weighty, and super satisfying. You've got this magical staff that can stretch and spin and do all kinds of crazy moves. Plus, you get access to powers like transforming into animals or summoning stuff mid-fight. It's the kind of game where you die a lot at first, but once it clicks, you feel like an unstoppable legend. The story isn't spoon-fed, but that's kind of the charm. It's more about the journey, the mood, the world around you. It drops little pieces of lore here and there, and you slowly start piecing together what's going on as you fight your way forward. Bottom line, if you've got a PS5 or a good PC and you love action games with a bit of mystery and a whole lot of style, Wukong is a no-brainer. It's fun, it's hard, it's gorgeous, and it's got some serious soul. Days Gone. Days Gone kind of flew under the radar when it first came out, but man, it deserves more love. It's one of those games that just pulls you in once you give it a chance. You play as Deacon St. John, a rough-around-the-edges biker living in a post-apocalyptic Oregon overrun by freakers, basically super aggressive zombie-like creatures. But here's the thing, the game's not really about the zombies, it's about Deacon, his past, his people, and the quiet moments in between all the chaos. The open world is honestly stunning. You've got dense forests, snowy mountains, abandoned towns, all of it just dripping with atmosphere. Riding your bike across the map feels great, and you really have to take care of it. Fuel up, repair it, all that stuff. It makes every trip feel a little more personal and real. What really hits though is the story. At first it seems like your typical tough guy survivor stuff, but it slowly reveals a lot more heart. You see Deacon go from just surviving day to day to actually trying to build something again. The flashbacks with his wife, the bonds with other survivors, it's low-key emotional in a way that sneaks up on you. The combat's a mix of stealth, crafting, and all-out chaos, especially when you're dealing with hordes. And the hordes? Legit terrifying. We're talking 100 plus freakers swarming you in real time. It's one of the few times a game actually made me panic, like, nope, not ready for this. It's not perfect, there's some jank here and there, and the pacing can be slow early on, but if you stick with it, Days Gone delivers a really solid, underrated open world story with heart, tension, and a ton of memorable moments. God of War Ragnarok. This game is everything you'd want from a big story-driven adventure. It's the follow-up to the 2018 God of War, and it takes everything that game did right and cranks it up even more. We're back with some Kratos and Atreus, this time dealing with the whole mess that is Norse mythology's end-of-the-world event, Ragnarok. The story dives deep into their father-son relationship, with Atreus growing up, questioning his place in the world, and kind of pushing back against Kratos' usual punch first, talk later style. Gameplay-wise, it's just tight. The combat is brutal but smart. You've got your axe, your blades, new weapons, new powers, and it all feels weighty and satisfying. Every hit lands with force. But there's also strategy to it, and the enemies aren't just cannon fodder, they actually make you think. The world is massive and gorgeous. You're visiting all 9 realms this time, each one packed with secrets, puzzles, side quests, and some jaw-dropping visuals. Whether you're riding wolves through snow or battling massive creatures in lava-filled ruins, there's always something cool around the corner. If you're into cinematic games with deep stories and killer action, God of War Ragnarok is hands down one of the best reasons to own a PS5. No excuses. This one's a must-play. SpiderMan 2. This game is just pure fun from start to finish. You get to play as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and switching between them is super smooth. Each of them has their own vibe. Peter's got that symbiote suit with crazy aggressive powers, while Miles brings his signature electric venom abilities. Both feel awesome in combat, and swinging through the city is still the most satisfying thing ever. What really makes this game shine though is just how alive everything feels. New York looks amazing. You've got Queens and Brooklyn now too. And there's always something happening. Side quests don't feel like filler. There's cool little character moments tucked into random corners of the map, and everything just flows together so well.
Not on my watch. Little advice for you bad guys?
It's also one of those games that really shows off what the PS5 can do. Instant loading, buttery smooth frame rates, gorgeous lighting, it just feels next level. Plus, all the small details like the haptic feedback in the controller when you're swinging or landing punches really pull you in. If you like the first Spider-Man or Miles Morales, this is a no-brainer. And if you haven't played those yet, honestly, this is a great excuse to dive into the whole series. It's fun, it's emotional, it's flashy, it's just everything you want in a big superhero game. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Rift Apart is just straight up good vibes. Like, you boot it up and instantly feel like a kid again, but with the bonus of next-gen visuals that'll make your jaw drop. It's bright, it's loud in a fun way, and it's the kind of game that doesn't stress you out, it just wants you to have a good time. You're jumping through entire dimensions in real time, no loading screens, no weird transitions, just boom. Whole new world in a second. It's not just a gimmick either. It makes exploration feel super fresh. 1 minute you're in a neon-lit alien city, the next you're flying through a desert storm chasing robot pirates. It's chaos, but in the best possible way. And characters? Honestly charming. Ratchet and Clank are still the heart of the show, but Rivet steals a bunch of scenes. She's got this badass but kind energy, and her bond with the new Robo-Buddy kit gives the game a surprising emotional core, like it sneaks up on you mid-blaster fight. And don't even get me started on the weapons. Insomniac clearly had a blast designing these. You've got guns that launch mini black holes, sprinkle confetti explosions, turn baddies into furniture. It's ridiculous, but it works. Every fight feels like a playground, and it keeps throwing new toys at you all the way through. But if you just want to kick back, smile, and lose yourself in a world that looks like a playable animated movie, Rift Apart is that game. It's wholesome chaos, and honestly, we need more of that. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection. Oh, if you're a fan of Uncharted, you probably already know how awesome these games are, and the Legacy of Thieves collection brings all that action to the PS5 in an even better way. This collection includes Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and Uncharted The Lost Legacy, both of which have been remastered to take full advantage of the PS5's power. You get to follow Nathan Drake in Uncharted 4, one of the most cinematic and emotional adventures in the series. It's a perfect mix of heart-pounding action and deep storytelling. The story in both games is top tier. Uncharted 4 is a conclusion to Nathan Drake's journey, diving into his past and putting him in tough situations that make you question everything about his life. And The Lost Legacy gives you a fresh perspective with a new main character, Chloe, who's just as likable and tough as Nate. If you've never played these games before, now's your chance to experience some of the best action-adventure gaming has to offer. And if you've already played them, the PS5 upgrade makes this a perfect excuse to jump back in for an even better experience. Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is one of those games that completely pulls you into its world. Set in feudal Japan, you play as Jin Sakai, a samurai who has to navigate a brutal world after the Mongol invasion. It's not just a game about slashing through enemies, it's about honor, sacrifice, and finding your own way in a world where the rules are constantly changing. The visuals in Ghost of Tsushima are just insane. The landscapes look like they're straight out of a painting, from the rolling hills to the bamboo forests. The game makes you feel like you're walking through a living, breathing samurai movie, and that's something not many games can pull off. The wind even guides you to your next objective, which sounds simple, but it really adds to the immersion. Combat is another highlight. It's fast, fluid, and satisfying, but also strategic. You can choose between different stances that are effective against different types of enemies. So there's a real sense of progression as you get better at the game, and the way Jin moves in battle, there's something so smooth about it. When you pull off a perfectly timed counter or take down a group of enemies in a single sweep, it feels amazing. As for the narrative, Jin has to make tough choices about honor, survival, and what it means to be a samurai. You're constantly torn between staying true to tradition or doing whatever it takes to protect your people, and that inner conflict is what makes the narrative so compelling. Plus, the side content isn't just filler. Whether you're taking on a side quest or hunting for collectibles, it feels like you're exploring the heart of Japan, not just ticking off a to-do list. So, if you're into samurai, stunning visuals, and a deep emotional story, Ghost of Tsushima is definitely a game you don't want to miss. Last of Us Part 1. The Last of Us Part 1 is a game that's all about connection, whether it's the relationship between Joel and Ellie, or the way the world pulls you in with every little detail. The remake on PS5 takes everything that made the original so amazing and gives it a serious visual upgrade. But beyond just looking stunning, the game's heart and soul are still the same, and that's what makes it such a powerful experience. Joel and Ellie's journey through a post-apocalyptic world is intense and emotional. You really feel for these characters. The world they're in is harsh, and there's no sugarcoating it. The zombies called clickers aren't the only threat. Human nature, greed, and desperation make the world even more dangerous, and the game forces you to question the choices you make along the way. The story hits hard with themes of loss, survival, and doing what it takes to protect those you love. Every step of the way you feel that connection between the characters, and it's what drives the entire experience. Gameplay-wise, The Last of Us Part 1 is a mix of stealth, combat, and exploration. You'll spend a lot of time sneaking past enemies or taking them out silently, because ammo is scarce and running in guns blazing can quickly turn into a nightmare. The AI is smart, so you can't just hide behind cover all the time. You've got to think ahead, manage resources, and use the environment to your advantage. It's tough, but that's what makes it so satisfying when you pull off a successful takedown. The world itself is hauntingly beautiful. There's this eerie calm to it where nature is slowly reclaiming cities, and you'll find yourself in these abandoned areas that feel like they're frozen in time. It's such a haunting contrast, like you're walking through the remains of civilization. And the sound design is on another level. The clickers make an unforgettable noise that'll send chills down your spine. And the soundtrack is full of moments that make you pause and reflect. But let's not forget the emotional punch. The story, the writing, and the character development are all top-notch. The Last of Us Part 1 does an incredible job of making you care about these characters, and even after everything that happens, you'll be thinking about it long after the credits roll. So if you haven't played it yet, or if it's been a while, the PS5 version is the perfect excuse to dive back into this masterpiece. It's a gut-wrenching, gripping, and beautiful experience from start to finish. The remake just makes everything feel fresh, but the soul of the game is as powerful as ever.
What you say goes.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor. If you're a fan of Star Wars and love immersive action-adventure games, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is definitely one you'll want to check out. It picks up the story of Cal Kestis, the young Jedi survivor from Fallen Order, and it takes everything that made the first game so great and makes it even better. It's a perfect mix of high-stakes lightsaber combat, platforming, and exploration in a galaxy far, far away. The combat in Jedi Survivor is even more refined than in the first game. Cal's lightsaber skills are smoother, and the Force powers are just as satisfying to use, whether you're taking down stormtroopers, battling massive beasts, or facing off against other Force users. The fights feel intense and rewarding. You've got more options this time around, like dual lightsabers or even a crossguard saber, which is awesome if you love mixing things up during battles. Plus, the Force abilities are creatively incorporated into combat and puzzles, keeping things fresh. The world building in Jedi Survivor is top tier. You'll travel to new planets that feel fully alive, with tons of nooks and crannies to explore. There's a real sense of scale, especially in the larger areas, where you'll feel like you're truly stepping into the Star Wars universe. The environmental storytelling is great too. Places that were once full of life now feel abandoned, adding a layer of depth to the experience. Visually, the game looks gorgeous. The lighting effects, the vibrant colors of different planets, and the detailed character models make the game look like it came straight out of the movies. The way the lightsaber glows and reflects off the surroundings is particularly satisfying. It's one of those games where you just stop for a moment to take in the view. The story picks up after the events of Fallen Order, and Cal's journey is deeper, more personal, and full of tough choices. Without giving away spoilers, let's just say the narrative takes you to places you didn't expect, and there are plenty of emotional moments that tie into the larger Star Wars saga. The relationships Cal has with his allies are important, and seeing his evolution as a character is one of the highlights. If you've been looking for a game that lets you live out your Jedi fantasy while feeling like you're actually part of the Star Wars universe, Jedi Survivor delivers. The action is tight, the exploration is fun, and the story has that classic Star Wars feel with a personal twist. Plus, if you're a fan of Fallen Order, this one definitely takes everything you loved about it and builds on it in all the right ways. Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 drops you right into the heart of Night City, a massive, chaotic, neon-lit future where every alley, club, and high-rise feels alive. You play as V, a mercenary with a chip in your head and a voice in your ear, literally. The story's all about power, identity, and survival in a world where tech runs everything and people will do anything to stay on top. What really makes this game hit is the vibe. Night City isn't just some backdrop, it feels like a living, breathing place. You'll run into all kinds of characters, each with their own stories, struggles, and weird little quirks. It's gritty, stylish, and weirdly beautiful in that dark, broken kind of way. You never know what you'll stumble into. One minute you're having a deep conversation with a rebel ex-cop, the next you're hacking into a corpo building or racing through the streets on a souped-up bike. The gameplay gives you a lot of freedom. You can go full stealth hacker, be a straight-up street samurai, or mix things up with cyberware and smart weapons. The choices you make actually matter, and your build really affects how you play. The story itself pulls you in, especially with Johnny Silverhand. Keanu Reeves adds a whole other layer of intensity to the game. And the side quests? Man, some of them hit just as hard as the main story. There are emotional moments, wild twists, and some real sit back and think about life kind of beats. It's one of those games where you finish a mission and just need a second to process. Cyberpunk 2077 isn't just cool, it's deep, stylish, and packed with unforgettable moments. It's the kind of game that sticks with you long after the credits roll.
Come out with your hands up!
Prototype. Imagine you wake up, right? And you're like, who am I? What's going on? But also you can suddenly do all this crazy stuff like jump super high, run up walls, and turn your arms into giant blades. That's basically Prototype. You're Alex Mercer and you're in New York City, but it's not the normal New York. It's like messed up. There's a virus, people are turning into monsters, and the army's all over the place. You get to run around and just wreck stuff. It's a blast. You can grab people and throw them at other people. You can turn your hands into claws and slice through enemies. You can even pretend to be other people by like absorbing them. It's kind of gross, but it's also really cool. The fighting, it's wild. You feel super strong, like you're not just fighting, you're smashing and crashing. You can do all these cool moves and it's just super satisfying. You can jump from rooftop to rooftop, glide through the air, and then just land and start tearing through bad guys. The story is like a mystery. You're trying to figure out who you are and why you can do all this stuff. There's a lot of twists and turns and there's a bunch of bad guys you gotta take down. It's not the most amazing story ever, but it keeps you interested. Basically, Prototype is just a really fun game where you get to be super powerful, you get to run around a city, cause chaos, and just have a good time. If you like action games and you like feeling like a total badass, you'll probably dig this one. It's like a power trip, you know? You're just cutting loose and having fun. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You're a pirate in the Caribbean during the golden age of piracy. You're not just any pirate though. You're also an assassin, which means you're good at sneaking around and taking out bad guys. You play as Edward Kenway, and he's a pretty cool character. He's a pirate who's also trying to figure out his place in the world. You'll be sailing your own ship, the Jackdaw, and exploring islands, fighting other ships, and looking for treasure. What's really fun about this game is the sailing. You get to command your own ship, upgrade it with better cannons and armor, and even recruit crew members. It's like being the captain of your own pirate ship. You'll also be exploring different islands, some with jungles, some with towns, and some with hidden secrets. You can climb buildings, sneak around, and use your hidden blade to take out enemies. It's like being a ninja pirate. The story's pretty interesting too. You'll meet famous pirates like Blackbeard and Anne Bonny, and you'll get caught up in a conflict between the Assassins and the Templars. Basically, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is a game that lets you live out your pirate fantasies. It's got sailing, exploring, fighting, and a cool story. It's a fun adventure. Red Dead Redemption 2. Imagine you're living back in the Wild West, like way back when things were changing fast. You're Arthur Morgan and you're part of a gang of outlaws. It's not just about robbing banks, it's about trying to survive when your whole way of life is fading away. This game, man, it feels real. Like you're not just playing a character, you're living in this world. You can go hunting for animals just to get food, or go fishing just to chill out. You can even just hang out with your gang, telling stories around a campfire. Of course, as action too, you'll be getting into gunfights, robbing trains, and doing all sorts of outlaw stuff. It's intense, and you'll have to make choices that affect how people see you. Do you help someone in need, or do you look out for yourself? It matters in this game. The story's what really gets you though. It's about Arthur and his gang and how they're trying to figure things out. You'll see them argue, laugh, and try to stick together. You'll get to know them and you'll care about what happens to them. The world itself is huge. You can explore forests, mountains, towns, and everything in between. It's like a big playground and there's always something to do. You can find hidden treasures, help people in need, or just ride your horse and enjoy the scenery. Metro Exodus. So Metro Exodus, you know those post-apocalyptic stories, right? This one's set in Russia, but it's not just another shoot-everything game. You're Artyom, and you're leaving the underground tunnels of Moscow, which are basically all that's left after a nuclear war. You're trying to find a place where people can actually live on the surface. It's like a really long, dangerous road trip across a messed-up version of Russia.
Artyom, shall we catch up with it?
What's neat about this game is the atmosphere. It changes with the seasons. You'll go from snowy winters where you're freezing your butt off to scorching deserts where you're baking in the sun. Each place has its own feel and its own dangers. It's not just a backdrop, it feels like a real place. You'll be scavenging for stuff like ammo and filters for your gas mask because everything is scarce. You have to be careful because you'll run into mutated creatures and other people who are trying to survive, and not all of them are friendly. It's a tense game, you're always on alert.
You made a mistake coming here.
The story is pretty solid. You'll meet different groups of people and you'll learn about their struggles and how they're trying to make a life in this messed up world. It's not just about shooting, it's about people trying to find hope in a really tough situation. Basically, if you're into games where you explore a dangerous world and try to survive, Metro Exodus is worth checking out. It's got cool action, a good story, and a really immersive atmosphere. It feels like you're actually there trying to make it through. Max Payne 3.
Something rotten in the air.
You've probably heard of Max Payne, right? Guy's had a rough time. This game picks up with him in Brazil, working as a bodyguard. It's not exactly a vacation. Here's the thing about this game, it's not just another shooter. It's got this slow motion thing called bullet time, which is pretty cool. You can dive around, shoot guys while time slows down. It's not just about spraying bullets, it's about making those shots count. The action is pretty intense. You'll be in shootouts in all sorts of places, from fancy clubs to rough neighborhoods. You're not just running and gunning, you're diving through windows, using cover, and trying to stay alive. It's got a real gritty feel to it. The story's dark too. Max is dealing with a lot of stuff, like his past and the fact that things keep going wrong. He's trying to protect the people he's working for, but it's not easy. It's like a crime thriller, but you're in the middle of it. You get to see a lot of Brazil in this game. You'll go to different places and they all have their own vibe. It's not just a backdrop, it feels like a real city. Detroit Become Human. It's the future, and there are these robots called androids that look and act just like people. They are basically everywhere. They look and act just like people, but they're supposed to just do what they're told. Now, some of these androids start to feel things like sadness, anger, even love. They start to wonder, why am I just a robot? Why can't I be free? You get to play as 3 different androids, each with their own story. First, there's Kara. She's like a nanny robot, and she ends up trying to protect a little girl from a bad situation. It's like a really intense family drama, but with robots. Then there's Connor. He's a police robot, and he's hunting down androids who are acting deviant, which is what they call androids who are starting to feel things. It's like a detective story, but with robots. And finally, there's Marcus. He's like a robot revolutionary. He wants freedom for all androids, and he's willing to fight for it. It's like a story about a robot uprising. The game is pretty emotional. You'll see how the androids struggle with their feelings, like when they're confused or scared. You'll also see how humans treat them, which can be really unfair. It's not just about robots fighting, though. It's about choices and what it means to be human. It's a game that makes you think about things like freedom, fairness, and what happens when robots become more like us. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Right, so you are Geralt. Think of him like a detective who also fights monsters. He lives in this big old-timey world, kind of like if fairy tales were real, but also kind of scary. He's on a mission to find Ciri, who's like his adopted kid. It's a long journey, and you'll be traveling through all sorts of places, from spooky forests to bustling towns. You'll meet a lot of different people, some nice, some not so much, and you'll run into some seriously freaky creatures. This game isn't just about swinging a sword. You'll have to make choices that change how the story goes, like someone might ask you to help them, and depending on what you do, things can turn out really different. You'll also be solving mysteries. People will tell you about monsters or crimes, and you'll have to use clues to figure out what's going on. The world you explore is huge, like really huge. You can ride your horse through fields, sail on lakes, and climb mountains. You'll find hidden caves, old ruins, and all sorts of places to explore. There are also tons of side quests, so you can always find something new to do.
On the battlefield, necrophages.
The monsters are pretty cool. You'll fight everything from giant spiders to flying beasts. You can use different weapons, spells, and potions to take them down. Each monster is different, so you have to figure out the best way to fight it. The story is also pretty interesting. It's not just about finding Ciri. You'll learn about the different kingdoms, the people who live there, and the problems they face. It's like a big, complicated story, and you're right in the middle of it.
Half lion, half eagle.
Basically, Witcher 3 is a game where you get to be a monster hunter, a detective, and an adventurer. You'll explore a big world, make choices that matter, and fight some really cool monsters. It's a game that can keep you busy for a long time.